All right, welcome back to the Deep Ties podcast. I don't know if we had that name nailed down last episode or our first episode, but we have a name now.
Yes, we do.
Um, Courtesy of Kofi over there.
Nah, teamwork. It was teamwork, to be
It,
honest.
yeah, well, it's your idea, and I agree. It sounds real nice. You have any inspiration for it? Anything you want to
Um,
elaborate about it?
no, man, I think I just envisioned deep blue seas. I think it was just more of the aesthetic and the vibe of it. And we have some deep conversations. So yeah, that was pretty much it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was feeling like a deep tide, a high tide, all these different news and stuff that we're covering. It's like waves, ebbs and flows, and just getting caught up in it.
Exactly. And then the deeper you go, the deeper the subject matter, even in terms of the human condition and just, psychology and things that are interesting.
Absolutely. So how you doing this week, Kofi? I mean, last time since we talked, it's been a couple weeks.
Oh yeah, definitely. A lot has happened in our political landscape and social landscape. But on a personal level, can't complain, man. My parents are retiring to Ghana, so they've been spending time with us, and it's been great. And they'll be visiting my sisters and then retiring to Ghana. So, how about you, man? How's everything going?
Oh, we can't just skip over that.
Okay, all
So, so,
right.
so, so, so you so have they been able to watch for a good amount of time? You're getting a lot of like personal time for you and I'm sorry, we're gonna cut that the name out.
That's all right, man. We
But
having a conversation.
watch the kid and give you time for date night
Oh,
and stuff like
absolutely.
that.
Absolutely, man. It's yeah, that part, honestly. It's been great to even just come home after a long day of work and not have to immediately worry about like what is my daughter gonna eat. So you can worry about what you're
Yeah,
gonna eat. And it sounds selfish, but yeah, I think having some of that time back to self has just been very nice. So I'm really
good,
appreciative. Yeah.
good. Okay. Yeah, for me, I mean, I'm the same old work, school. I do have had some family events that I've attended the last couple of weekends.
Okay.
This last weekend, I went down to like where I'm from in the Northern Neck area, in small town called Farnham. I don't even know if you would call it a town, but they had a Heritage Day at my stepfather's church,
Oh, okay.
and my mother actually spoke at it, and it was really moving. Her her speech or message was kind of directed to everybody that showed, but it was also specifically for children, and it was just really dope to just be in a crowd and just get the message.
Yeah.
Saying since she just covered everything from like our great grandfathers who we tracked them to their plantation that they were actually enslaved on,
Mm.
and kind of walked what we do know about that, and then even her own like the struggles with her parents, like how my grandfather grew up to a, a father who was on who was suffering from alcoholism, and he was actually raised by his aunts and uncles, and then ended up having to join the military. Then her mother was in the foster care system because the mother, her my great grandmother had died at a young age in their 30s, and then the father was actually also alcoholic. So then the big family was put in a foster care system. So you're just saying like stuff that you inherit. You can't pick your family. You can't pick where you're born. You can't
Hmm.
pick the era.
Right.
But what you can do is like take the lessons that you learn and then pass them on to the next generation. And it was just very moving. But
Bro, that's
that
dope.
was
That is
yeah.
super.
I'm
And
not
I,
doing it justice with the summary, to be honest.
but I
I
mean, even
would,
the summary you gave is moving, and I don't know if we oftentimes like go back that far to discuss that and have cautionary tales or just tales of where you came from. So that's awesome.
yeah. I mean, I
Listen,
suggest everybody to at least try to, even if it's ancestry.com,
yeah,
trace your heritage or see if there's some stories. Not necessarily saying that it has to like define who you are, but I think just having that understanding, I just think it enriches the experience that we call life.
Yeah, for sure. Yo, that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
But yeah, other than that, that was the highlight. What else? Yeah, I mean that's it. I'm really boring, man. I got my car tinted and stuff like that. I don't really do too much, you know. I keep it low key.
Hey man, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Keep it low key and let the people see instead of telling them. So
Yeah, there you go.
hey, I'm with it.
All right, so first I want to kick off. I just want to go through some of the news headlines that we got going on right now.
Yes, sir.
So last time we spoke, I know we mentioned the ASAP Rocky trial. He was found innocent, so he is clear of those charges. Um, Not much to really say on it. Like I said, the eyewitness wasn't really credible, and there was a lot of sketchy stuff with the evidence that he was presenting. In sports news, they're trying to hold my Eagles down. We just won the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure the last episode, it was like the week before the Super Bowl. So I was saying,
Yes, it
oh,
was.
I pretty much laid out what was going to happen, and it happened.
Yeah, you kind of did.
More or less, you know, I said the
Yeah,
matchups we were superior. I
yeah.
didn't say it was going to, I don't know if I said it was going to be a blowout, but I said the matchups we're superior, and it just happened,
That's what it looked like
you
to me.
know.
And I'm not an avid football fan, so yeah, continue,
Hey,
please.
I'm just saying I'm like 2 for 2 when I go out on when I went on our other friends podcast, sports podcast, and I
Yeah,
was talking about the Tank and Garcia fight.
yeah.
I predicted that he was going to knock him out with a body shot. So I
Mm.
should speak more stuff out into podcasts because it seems like I'm 100% right now.
Yo, hey, you might as well. You might as well. I like
But
it. I
anyways,
like it.
back to the headline. They're trying to hold us down. They're trying to ban the tush push. Are you familiar with the tush push, or have you heard it before?
Bruh, I'd never heard it before you told me. I looked it up and now I understand. I didn't know what you were talking about before, but I didn't know. Yeah, that was basically the O line is kind of like that offensive move where you gain a few yards. Everyone kind of huddles in and pushes. Uh,
Yeah.
so what's the rationale behind banning it, and what's your opinion on it?
The main thing that people are mad about, first of all, every team can do it. So it's not something that's isolated just to, oh, the Eagles is the only people that can call this play. So what it is what you say the offensive line converges in. It's like it's a quarterback sneak,
Right.
but you have the running back or whoever is behind the quarterback pushing the quarterback forward. So that's why they call it the touch push. Because a lot of times they're actually pushing his butt because he's trying to lean forward, and the person behind him is giving him more leverage by pushing him forward. And we
Right.
just happen to run it way more often and have a high success rate for it.
Mm.
So the Green Bay Packers has in this offseason they have actually proposed to ban it. I don't think it's going to get banned. It's kind of hard to say that a player can't get leverage from another player in football because
Yeah.
in that case nobody could touch any offensive player if you're not the defense.
Right.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
Also, okay,
Oh no, I was gonna say, in my opinion, and I mean, again, I don't watch football. I did play in high school, and I feel
there you
like,
go. You got your expertise. Yeah, you was
yeah,
on offensive line. There you go.
yeah, not that I was a good one, to be honest, but yeah, I feel like, I mean, that still comes down to strategy, the strength, the setup. So I don't see why that would be something that needs to be banned. Like the ability of the center or the tackles, whoever. That still comes down to strength, movement, technique. So I don't
Yeah,
see how someone can have an automatic advantage. But yeah, that's
yeah,
just my quick 2 cents.
absolutely. And we actually changed the center from last season. He's probably going to be in the Hall of Fame center retired, Jason Kelsey, and then we actually have a new center. We're still doing the switch switch. I really think it boils down to Jalen Hurts because he is a power lifter. He squats 500 plus pounds. So I think
Okay.
that has a lot to do with it. And also, you only do it when you're within like
Yeah,
within three
exactly.
yards or something. So either way, you
Right.
got to do. If you're the defense, you got to put in your work to stop us either way.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. I agree.
Also, on the same topic of the Eagles, So I don't know. You probably didn't know this, but the last time he won the Super Bowl, 2017, that was during Trump's first term. So we declined to go to the White House. You know, that's the tradition that, oh, the sports team that's won the championship or the World Series, whatever, they go visit the White House and meet the president.
Right.
So there's questions if the Eagles were going to visit the White House. Initially, they said they were not.
Yeah.
Looks like they will be visiting the White House. I don't think it's a big deal. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some players that will not be in attendance. May specifically Jalen Hurts because I think his mom is a actual teacher. So
Ah,
I don't think that's going to go. I don't think Jalen is going to do that. Um,
that's an interesting one. Yeah.
yeah. And then on that same topic, the Department of Education has
Yeah.
gotten rid of 50% of their work force just since Trump has took office. So just like I was saying, teachers and all this, all the extra funds and the services that the Department of Education provides is now in question. And I know, of course, we know this was a highly targeted agency before Trump got elected. It was already called out in Project 2025 that he
Right.
wanted to get rid of the Department of Education.
Right.
Are we shocked? I'm not.
Um, I'm not shocked, but I'm appalled. You know what I mean? And
Oh yeah.
I'm disappointed. Like, I've looked into like briefly into some of the counter arguments around cutting the workforce in the fashion that they're doing, and I think no matter whatever you signed up for that job. Your ability to do that job, that's between you and your who you work under and your team.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's a lack of empathy. People plan their lives
Mm-hmm.
around their employment, and they don't go in knowing that that can happen to them just like that, especially if fear tactics are being used and intimidation tactics. So I think it's disgusting, man. Like,
Yeah.
I feel for people who either say, hey, when I went on a call with Mark Warner and somebody else, and somebody was a federal worker was speaking about how his father had dementia, so he couldn't make it into the office. He had a situation where he can take care of his father, but now he
Mm-hmm.
has to go into the office, right? And then you think about you might have a single income household where someone has a lot of children, even if they don't. But imagine planning your entire life around your paycheck, whether that be just your financial obligations, and then they pull the rug from under you.
Mm-hmm.
The way they're going about it. There's nothing cool about it. It's people's lives that people are playing with. So
Absolutely.
it infuriates me, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your take?
I mean, I'm the same way. Some people still think it's, especially if you're not a federal worker or in these
Uh,
agencies, some people still think it's a joke or it's like, oh, it's we're used to it because Trump does all these type of things, and it's so prevalent now. If you even in this however many days it's been, it hasn't been like 100 days.
right.
Every day you're getting another headline. So if you don't have that empathy that you stated, you can get desensitized to it. So people,
Right.
especially at
Right.
work,
Yep.
I mean, I work for a private company, so I hear people saying, "Oh, laughing and oh, like kind of like look at this." Not saying like they support them, but it's more of like in a joke tone.
Yeah, because
But
it
to
hasn't hit
like you
them yet.
said,
Yeah.
right, it
Right.
doesn't hit them like it unless you have a relative or yourself or your friend or somebody that's affected. Then it's just like, oh, you read about it and that's it.
Right.
But like you said, it's ramifications that real affects people are having real time right now.
Yep.
And I have a lot of friends who are affected.
Right.
My girlfriend's affected. She's a federal worker, so
Right.
it's interesting.
Right. Nope. Exactly. And the key one of the points, based off what you were saying too, is I think people don't realize, people don't really feel until it's them that the fire is getting close to, right? Like, I don't want to be the cop. I want to, well, my speech. I want to definitely be fair and hold myself accountable. I think when things like this happen in the past, let's say with the tech layoffs, because I didn't feel impacted, it might not have registered for me. But now, like you said, your girlfriend, my sister, our friend's wife, all the people, us being in the Northern Virginia area where a lot of these things are in close proximity, when it impacts you, it's a different level of fear. So it's helped me develop more empathy even when things are further. So I had to learn that for myself. So I just want to
Yeah.
put that out there that I'm not necessarily exempt from that as well.
Yeah, I mean that's the key thing. Like I don't feel like anybody has to absolutely feel something to feel empathy.
Right.
Same thing if you hear something in a foreign country, just because it's not United States, you can't. It's not like you can't empathize and like be kind of humble yourself. Like okay, I'm in a better situation. I'm blessed, but still feel for that person on the other end.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
but moving on, what
Yes,
we
sir.
have okay, Ukraine and Russia war. They have exchanged strikes after there was a 30-day ceasefire on the table that Ukraine agreed to, but Russia
Right.
did not agree to.
Mm,
So then recently there was a call between Russia and President Trump. Whatever happened between that call, we don't know. But either way, directly after they have exchanged fire again between each other. And now I think there's going to be a call with Ukraine in the near future between the United States.
mm,
So I'm really don't, I remember I paid attention. Trump said he was supposed to handle this before he even took the presidency,
talk about
and
it.
he said the Ukraine and Russia war would be ended before he took the presidency, and he's shifting all the blame on Biden and Obama and all that,
Right.
and we see it's not getting any headway, and we got just more clips even with Zelensky meeting with him in the White House and that whole debacle. So
Yikes. Yeah,
yeah,
that was yikes. And I'm glad you're pointing out facts because I mean lies may be told, but things that actually happen, hey, you're reporting the facts. So
I'm
I
just
appreciate
reporting the
that.
facts. Yeah,
We don't want nobody thinking there's some kind of bias. Right is right, wrong is wrong, and facts are facts. So continue, please.
exactly. On the same lines, Israel is also now commencing a new offensive into Gaza, ending their ceasefire.
Hmm.
So we also don't know what's going on with that. Um, so I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's gotten any better. I don't remember him saying too much about that leading up to the election as far as his stance. Since
Right.
he's took in office, he did say he wants to, take over Gaza and relocate Palestinian people to, I think, Jordan and Egypt.
Right.
So I mean, I'm just reporting news.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yep.
SpaceX successfully returned the two astronauts that were on an extended stay out in the space and on the International Space Station. I think that was like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah, I
thoughts on
caught wind of
space
that.
travel?
No, I mean it's the way it ties to SpaceX and NASA. I don't. I know how I feel about Elon's just position in a lot of the prior
Yeah,
topics, so it's a little hard to want to attribute anything positive towards him. But I will say, if that is something that was done under him, that's great. Happy for them, but I don't know enough about it to want to give him any more credit than he deserves. How about you?
yeah. I'm just stating facts.
Yeah.
He also, and I can't remember. Somebody brought up. Of course, he tried to make it a political thing, saying, "Oh, if the previous president had contacted him, they delayed contacting him for political reasons." And then an astronaut actually refuted that, and he called the astronaut an idiot. So there's a back and forth about this
Oh,
whole development. But
damn.
either way, they're back home. That's what's most important, and hopefully they can transition back to gravity in a good amount of time.
Right. Because I know it has that impact on the body. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So George W. Bush appointed Supreme Court Justice Roberts. So if you don't know, Trump has been deporting people at a
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
at a high clip, but specifically
Yeah.
he used a 1798 Enemy Aliens Act to deport alleged Venezuelan gang members. And this specific act has not been used since World War II. So there's a judge that halted his usage of this act, even though he still was able to deport people back to Venezuela. Specifically, I saw an article where a guy was deported just because he had a tattoo,
Hmm.
and he was not part of this gang. So he
That
was
is
first he
wild.
was sent to Guantanamo Bay. He said he was isolated for however how long in a small space, barely given any food. Then he was eventually sent mixed in with these other alleged gang members. So it's a whole everything we're saying about this administration is pretty much going to have the same result. It's just a whole bunch of mess.
Yeah, like
Um,
what the okay. Yeah.
but this is actually setting up a showdown because the Justice Roberts, he is a Republican. He is a more moderate Republican. Like I say, he's a George W. Bush appointee, not a Trump appointee.
Hmm.
But he has also helped Trump in some of his court cases. But he is putting his foot down and saying Trump. Oh yeah, because Trump is calling for the impeachment of the judge who halted his deportation and use of that act. So then now
Okay.
Supreme Court Justice Roberts is saying he's rebuking Trump for calling for the impeachment of a judge, which
Yeah.
I feel like should be common knowledge and common. I feel like everybody should speak out, even Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. But we know that's not
Yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah.
At a certain point, it's like U.S. citizen knowledge of about the separation between executive branch and the judicial branch,
Right.
and it just amazes me just what's going on right now. But that is setting up a showdown between in the Republican Party.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, hopefully he stays there and he just doesn't just change his opinion and like puts out something. No, I wasn't in the right because right now this is the era where you can say something and then say the complete opposite and not really have to address why you change your mind or say,
Yep.
"Oh, that's not true," even though
No.
there's tape on it.
Right. You're right.
All
Yeah.
right, so that's
Yeah.
yeah. Anything else to add to it?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I think, yeah, it's I kind of empathize. I see it from two sides in terms of people standing up against Trump and Elon. On one end, it's like where are the heroes in this dystopia? On the other hand, I think people are either complicit or they know who has the power, and they don't. They basically might not want to self-sacrifice. So shout
Yeah.
out to those that do, who are willing to say, I'm willing to lose everything going against the machine, right?
Hmm.
So I think it's that in itself is very complex, and yeah, it really comes down to character. So shout out to those that are fighting, and I hope to be more like them myself. Yep, that's it for me, man.
Oh, speaking of, you did mention the town hall you attended with Mark Warner, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I've also noticed the Democratic Party has been under fire, and their approval ratings have been down, and a lot of people are blaming the Democratic Party for what's going on now, saying they didn't do enough. They're currently not doing enough, and stuff along these lines. How do you feel about that? As far as like Trump having the presidency, obviously, and also having Senate and then the House of Representatives, and the Democrats coming on the fire currently is saying they're not doing this more, not doing enough to push back.
Yeah, sure. So, well, and my disclaimer is I've become more recently politically adept, but politics was not really a strong suit for me in the past. So there's a lot of missing information on my end. So that caveat aside, I think that it would be justifiable if the Democrats were cooking up something. I think they have to be very strategic. Um, but it doesn't, I mean, I don't know if their silence means that they're counter or planning anything. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I hope that they're strategizing to the best of their ability because I think everything that's occurring from the Republican side is very well thought out.
Yeah,
And I think about, Elon being, and I don't want to give him too much credit either, but him being more in the tech world, you know, and maybe thinking of how to accomplish what he's accomplishing algorithmically, right? In terms of
yeah,
government efficiency, they probably have algorithms in place in terms of here are the steps we can do in order to accomplish what we want. and they probably have countermeasures for when things go wrong. Why else would you
Hmm.
kind of risk, you doing something you're not supposed to do for jail time if you're already a billionaire? I would think you have something to lose. So I think that they probably have highly capable minds that mapped out how they're going to approach this takeover. And I hope that Democrats, it would be better for them to remain silent if they are developing algorithms to respond to gain control again. Otherwise, if they're not doing either, then it's a damn shame. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah, what's your thoughts on it?
I mean, my thoughts are always the same.
Yeah,
I feel like they did what they, as far as telling everybody or trying to spread the word of what was being planned on his side, from what you're talking about, the strategy, a big part of that is Project 2025. Like it is an organized, uh, what would you call it, manifesto or
yeah.
strategy plan. It has actionable items that lists is like, oh, this is the issue that we're seeing. Here's a corrective actions for it. So it is a script.
Yes.
So just the way that our democracy is set up, we had a chance to prevent all this at the election.
Mm,
I don't think anybody, if they actually legitimately wanted to know what was going to be planned in this administration, did not have access to any of this. Like if it wasn't a presidential debate, it wasn't a commercial, if it wasn't a town hall or a rally where they're pushing Trump wants to do this, Trump wants to do that, like straight words, direct. I feel like that information was out there. So now election happened, right? So he won the majority vote. He won the electoral college, but also they won the Senate and they won the House of Representatives, like I said. So now, fast forward to today, what can the Democratic Party really do on a day to day basis, except for like their usual objections up to a certain point? But at the end of the day, you still have to kind of do your job. The democracy aspect took place, so can't be a sore loser because that's what America wanted.
right.
Right. So we can't just be like, oh, they need to do something all of a sudden now because the side that we wanted didn't want to win. You have to accept the election results, just like you held the other side to accept the election results
Mm,
when they felt like it was iffy.
mm.
Um, so yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. And then
Okay.
like town halls, it sounds like a lot of them have been doing town halls, stuff like that. I don't know if people are looking for. I don't really know what people want. I think they
Oh,
want
yeah.
more like not going along, not doing their job, more not voting for this stuff and pushing back or sit outs or whatever. But I mean, it's not really feasible because at the end of the day, you still need to run the country,
That's true. That's
and the
true.
people have decided.
Unfortunately, and it is hard to say that when you decide when you're. But I guess that's part of sharing the pie. Is yeah,
Yeah, you can't always have your way. That's democracy.
yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
All right. Now moving on. Let's see. Let's just knock out some of this sports section. Get it out the way.
Okay.
Tank versus Roach one. I'm gonna say one because it's gonna be two.
Okay.
What you feeling? Did you watch it?
Man, I only saw the highlights because I thought I woke up thinking Tank was gonna, reign supreme as he usually does. I still want to go back and watch it. I'll say, hey, shout out to Roach. To to Tech's point, when I had long hair and I got it braided, that little thing they be putting in your hair, that shit do burn your eyes. So when he said that, I was like, I don't think he's lying because I know that sensation. But jokes aside, yeah, I'm impressed with Roach, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him fight. And it makes me wonder, would he have beaten the other people that Tank beat? So I think it kind of rekindles some interest in boxing for me to see how he weighs up against some of the other fighters. So, yeah, what's your thoughts?
Yeah. The funny thing that you said, the hairdresser, with social media, you get You mean you get responses
Instantaneous.
instantly.
Yeah.
So when he said that, I feel like I heard within like 5 hours that she posted saying, "I did your hair on Wednesday, like a few days ago, not just 2 days ago." And she said she
Right.
didn't use grease. So that kind of sucks, for it sucks for his narrative.
Yeah, it does.
But I'm disappointed in Tank.
Yeah.
I'm very disappointed. I'm a big
Oh,
Javante
a
Tank
big fan.
Davis fan.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I am severely disappointed. And
So, yeah.
it's not because of the draw specifically. It's just the way the fight the way the fight transpired.
Yeah.
So if let's take the controversial part out. So we'll talk about it. But let's take that knee, that what you want to take a kneel, whatever you want to call it. Let's take that out of it for a second.
Okay.
I would have called the fight slightly in Tank's favor if you take that knee out, because Roach, let's say Roach threw more punches, but obviously his accuracy was not as high as Tank. So Roach only landed 28% of his punches. He threw like 112, landed 400. I'm sorry, he threw 400 punches, landed 112. Tank threw 279 punches, landed 103 punches. So Tank's sitting at like 36.9%, and Roach is at 28% as far as landing. Jabs, Roach threw 15 more jabs, so he landed 25 jabs to Tank's 10 jabs. And then the power shot, Tank landed more power shots. He landed 93 power shots to Roach's 87 power shots. And in his power shots, Tank landed at 44.3% and Roach's at 34.5%. I'm also pretty sure Tank landed more body shots, but they don't have that stats. Just by me watching it. So I think people were disappointed because they expected the same thing you expected, and me likewise. We expected Tank to dominate. So when we don't see it, and Roach is in there throwing punches with him, then Roach is going to be looked at a higher grade because he is exceeding expectations. But if you look at it, I don't think Tank was ever threatened to be knocked out. Yeah. I think more meaningful shots came from Tank, so I would have edged the fight to Tank. But then when you take the knee, so if people don't know what we're talking about, in one of the rounds, Tank took a knee in the middle of the round, and it wasn't like he had got hit by a crazy shot or anything. Like Kofi was saying, he was stating that later on he stated that he had some grease in his eye, and he's running to his corner to wipe it down with a towel. There has never been I feel like he should know this. You can't just take a timeout. So it's like whenever you took a knee, the referee had started to count and everything like it was a knockdown. And then the ref just stopped and it's like, okay, you can't do that. It looks like a knockdown. So I can understand the controversy because like if you count that as a knockdown, then you can edge it towards Roach because then that's a 10-8 round or whatever you want to call it in Roach's favor. Right. The only reason why I say Roach didn't do enough early because I think Tank won most of the rounds at least before the 6th or 5th round, which is usually the opposite way. Usually Tank starts slow, which he did start slow, but Roach was also starting slow with him early on. So that kind of was a saving grace. So back to why I'm very disappointed. I feel like Tank is his biggest enemy. He got stuck in his own way. He wanted to knock him out when he could have easily, okay, I'm not getting a knockout. Let me outbox Roach. He could have easily just, all right, I'm gonna just throw jabs, get my head movements, because he was moving around the ring real nice. Yeah. Let me just get the points. Let me switch over to Mayweather style. Like, I'm not getting a knockout. Stop being stubborn on trying to get a knockout on this guys. It wasn't working. And I've seen him he had a match against Pitbull where he fractured his left hand. He's a southpaw, so left hand is his power hand. Yeah. And he won that match by outpointing him, throwing jabs. He couldn't even throw power shots
Mm,
easily. He could have just did that with Roach, but he got in his own head and he was in the corner telling people to listen to him. So that's why I'm severely disappointed with Tank. He could have
right.
won that even without the knockout. He could have probably won easily. It was just
Let,
switching up the strategy.
let me ask you this. Do you think that Roach is more talented than his Tank's other opponents?
No,
Hmm.
not. I want to say like Tank definitely has faced better opponents than Roach.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that also plays into why Tank was stuck in his way because he probably wanted to try to prove a point. He knows this guy has beat him twice already. He
Yeah.
probably is not taking him that serious. So he thinks he can still get off and get the knockout. Where if it was somebody he completely didn't know and it wasn't going, then he can't really anticipate that he can like get the knockout. He would have probably had to change the strategy. Because like
Right.
I see a fight with Mario Barrios where excuse me, he went up in weight and he was getting pressured. That's the fight. I'm pretty sure that's the fight Mayweather told him like you down, like in the corner, like seventh round or
Mm,
sixth round. He was like, man, you down. You need
right.
to do something.
Right.
And he dug deep and he ended up knocking him out with a body shot, getting the TKO.
Yep.
But yeah, I just think that familiarity between Rhodes kind of had him even more stubborn and stuck in his way, even though we already know Tank is pretty stubborn. He does what he wants to do sometimes, and his mind be all over the place. He be looking and not focused sometimes. But then that's also why he's so calm in the ring. It's also plays into his strength. So you know, it's
Yeah.
a gift and a curse.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll be looking forward to him to like to be on his game, the rematch, because even not a knockout, you just got to show you. I know he's faster, he's stronger than this guy, more, more just as more experience. I'd say,
Yeah.
you can easily beat the guy. Not saying you can easily knock him out, but you can beat him. Just win. And I'm sure that draw in his win loss column. Now you have the dash one is going to put stuff in perspective, probably humble him.
Right. Right.
So the NBA MVP race is down to two players right now, pretty much.
Right.
We have Nikola Jokic from the Denver Nuggets, also known as Joker, and Shea Gilgis Alexander, also known as SGA from the Oklahoma City Thunder. So the overwhelming media takes and opinions seem to want to favor SGA. And just a little background: last year they were also the kind of like the 1 and 2, and at the end they edged it to Joker to win MVP. Where a lot of people, even former players like Shaq and other people, stated that they felt like SGA won MVP last year.
Mm.
And then
Okay.
also Joker, I think that this is his third MVP. He's already won 3 MVPs. So if he won this, would be his fourth. So people also experience MVP fatigue from Joker winning it multiple times or being in the running for MVP.
Mm. Right. Right. Right.
So just a brief overview of their stats. Joker, I mean, just to put it plainly, Joker is top 3 in the NBA in scoring, rebounds, assists, and steals.
Mm.
So these are his season stats. He's averaging a triple double. So he's averaging 29 points per game, 12.9 rebounds per game, 10.4 assists per game.
Wow.
And his team sits at number 4 in the West. Oh, no, number 3. They were number 2, but I think they just got passed by the Rockets. So yeah, they're number 3 in the West at 44 wins and 25 losses.
Okay.
SGA's team is tied for the best record in the NBA overall across both conferences, and also are number 1 in the West at 56 wins and 12 losses.
Mm.
So SGA is the leading scorer this season in the NBA at 32.8 points per game.
Mm.
He's also averaging 5.1 rebounds and 6.2 assists. And he is also, I think, still tied with Joker for number 3 in steals at 1.8 steals per game.
Okay.
So what you thinking? I know you're unbiased. You don't really watch NBA. Just by everything that I've just told you right now, who you thinking for MVP?
Well, for the numbers for score, you said that the what's his name? Shy.
Joker or Shea?
Yeah, Shea has a higher point average than Joker.
That's correct. Shea's at
Interesting.
32.8 points, 32.8 points,
Yeah.
and Joker is averaging 29 points per game.
Oh, he's not that far off. Yeah, that might have to be Joker because so the other stats seem to be very high for Joker, especially. I mean, I don't know if centers are popular for steals as much as blocks. That's just an assumption. I'm not
They're
sure.
not at
They're
all.
not, right? Yeah. So to have that many steals as a big guy, like unless he's stealing them as blocks, like that's impressive. And I know there might be fatigue, but at the end of the day, I mean, in the sport, I would think it's still the superior player or the superior stats. So I guess it depends on how they're even ranking those statistics against each
Yeah,
other. But yeah, joking is not far behind in the points. If that's the only thing that Shea has a little bit more of than him.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And then I look at MVP. I feel like the way the media should approach it, but I understand the media because I say the media because a lot of them are voters for these awards.
yeah,
I understand the media heads have to have these topics. They have to have these talking points. So they have to always make it closer than what it is. Not saying it's not a close race, but they also have to make it real. Controversy sells. Like
yeah.
if it was just like, okay, yeah, Joker's it, no hands down. Like there's not really much of a talking point when you have your segment.
Right.
So they have to like kind of feed it up, like bake it up. Like, oh, Shay, if he gets snubbed, that'd be second year in a row. Or if Joker gets it, it's MVP fatigue. It's not his time anymore. But I always saw MVP, even the same with NFL. It's what it says it is, most valuable
Most
player.
valuable player, right?
If that player was not on the team, where is that? Where is the team going to make up the rest of those stats that are missing? So if
Right.
Shay's not on the team, obviously there's a big drop off. As far as there's a drop off in points that
Right.
they would have to pick up the slacks. But the other stats, they're doable. If we're taking Joker off the Denver Nuggets, who runs their offense not only by he's averaging 10.4 assists. He's top three in assists, so he's a facilitator.
Right. Right.
But he also is a scorer, 29 points, so he can score. So
Right.
if we take Joker off that team, where is the points coming from? Not just his own points, but who's making those assists and setting up the offense for other people to score and look good.
That's a good argument. But let me ask you this. If Shay or Shy, I'm sorry if I'm saying his name wrong, if their team is number one, does that count for anything towards that argument?
And that's what people are saying because he's number one.
Right.
The team is number one. But then at the same time, I'm not saying it shouldn't have any factor in MVP. I
Yeah.
feel like your team still should be successful to be an MVP candidate. Because that's kind of like if you look at the NFL side, Joe Burrow statistically was the best quarterback the whole season, but his team didn't make the playoffs. So therefore, you can't give him MVP. But over here, Joker's team is still in the play for number two, number three in the West behind the Thunder. So they're doing well themselves. Like they're not like barely making the playoffs or in the play-in or anything like that.
Right.
So I think as long as that is satisfied, your team is successful, it has a decent amount of games above 500, then it kind of it's like a mute point at that time because like then you have to take in consideration what the other teammates' production is.
Right.
Shea also has another All-Star that he's playing with him that made the All-Star this year. Joker does not have an All-Star, All-NBA player on his team because it
Okay.
ultimately is a team sport. So then
Right.
you have to take that in consideration when you're talking about MVP. We're talking about that player's contribution,
Right.
and that's why I always had it. People felt like LeBron should have won more MVP awards when he's on these super teams, starting with the Heat.
Right.
I feel like whenever you band up with other superstars, that should hurt your chances for MVP because you're no longer just the most valuable player. You might be okay, you might be the best player on that team, but if you have three superstars, they're probably still going to be able to make the playoffs or make a run. Like if you have Dwayne
Mm,
Wade, Chris Bosh, or you have Kyrie, Kevin Love, and you have Anthony Davis, like that hurts your chances. It should, in my opinion.
right.
That's just my 2 cents on it.
Okay. Okay. Well, may the best man win.
There you go. May the best win. That's all. Hopefully, yeah. I feel like people will probably be outraged if Joker wins it again. Also,
Yeah.
because he's international too. That's another.
Yeah, I
SGA
would
is
say I
also
saw that.
international.
Oh.
SGA is from Canada, but he is black. So that's
Oh, that's this is complicated. Yeah,
yeah.
that's complex. Oh man.
All right. So switching gears over to music, Playboi Carti. Apparently, he just saved the 2025 year 2025 for music for hip hop music, according
Mm,
to some people.
mm,
He actually had Kendrick on three of the tracks on his new album. I think it's called Music. I Am Music. I'm sorry.
yeah,
30 tracks, a lot of tracks, but it's only about like an hour and some change.
yeah.
Have you given any listen?
So before we did this, I did briefly listen to just the Kendrick's verses.
I did
I
the
think
same
on the
thing.
two, yeah, because Playboy Cardi, I mean, respectfully, it's not someone I go to. I'm not too familiar with his music either. So to be fair, maybe I could be converted, but yeah, I've
I
just
don't know
never.
about that.
Yeah, I don't. I wanted to. Maybe it's not my cup of tea, the style of music. So, but maybe it's for the young guys. So, but I mean, Kendrick did his thing on there. I will say that. So, I mean, he delivered. Yeah. What was your thoughts?
So, also I mentioned it broke records for being the most streamed album in one day or something for Spotify.
Damn.
Playboy Cardi, like he has some songs that I really like.
Yeah.
And really, when it comes down to Playboy Cardi, in my opinion, they're production heavy, not necessarily
Right.
like what their bars or anything.
Right.
Yeah, they'll ride a beat and do the ad libs and stuff, but
Yeah.
really the production is crazy. And that's kind of similar how I feel about Travis Scott too. I
Yeah.
just feel like they know how to make a vibe with the production, but it has to be crazy production. It can't be like you can't
Okay.
lack in production
Right.
because I don't feel like the song is going to grab you. But I'm not a big Playboi Carti fan to say that for sure because I don't really listen to him like that.
Yeah.
I really don't even really know what he sounds like for real.
Me neither.
To be honest,
I don't either. I couldn't tell you.
he he had that one song when he first came out in New York. I Merely Rock. That was like one of my favorite songs at the time.
Yeah.
Just the beat was going crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't remember what you know what I'm talking about.
It wasn't the Millie Rock on Any Block song, was it? Or was it something else?
No, it's the but that was a hook. In New York, I Merely Rock. Ronnie Willis shot.
Ah.
And then you said, Pierre, you want to come in here?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That beat was crazy.
Yeah. Oh,
That beat
those
was
beats are
crazy.
fire. Oh, absolutely.
So, if they don't have that production, I don't really see how they're music artists. But if
Yeah.
you also look at this album, he has a bunch of features on here, which you expect. Like he has Future, Travis Scott, The Weeknd, Kendrick on three tracks. One track Kendrick is just doing ad libs for. Janae Aiko. Like it can't do nothing but succeed. I think he has Young Thug on here.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean it's already going to be a Ty Dolla Sign. He has so many features. Like yeah, it's going to be a good album.
I might
But I
have to
mean,
give it a listen just for the features alone.
that's the only
Only
reason I would look
yeah.
at.
Yeah. Respectfully,
Yeah,
respectfully.
respectfully, yeah, respectfully. Um, yeah, but now to more the deep tides. That was more shallow waters, I would say, other than like the news. But
Yeah,
sports here
you
we
can still drown in them though. It
there
has
you
some
go.
depth to it. It still has some depth
Yeah,
to it. Yeah.
yeah. So something I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
What is a technology that you would like to see introduced or developed in the near future? Like what's something that you when you used to watch movies of the future, when you're young or even now, you like that's something I think is feasible and it's something that would change my life for like just something that I would like to see.
Oh man, that's such a good question, and it's one of those things where I feel like when you're in the moment of needing that thing, it hits you. I'm gonna let you go first, so I can think about that a little bit.
See, mine isn't so much as like advanced technology, because it's done in other parts of the world.
Hmm.
But I think it's way overdue for the United States to have a more substantial high speed train system set up.
Ooh,
Just
yeah, yeah,
like when
yeah.
you're in Japan or in Europe, you can go all over France, Spain, Italy, Portugal. Like you can make these trips and not have to worry about, you don't have to pay too much, but you still have, you have Wi-Fi, you have the cafe, you can ride comfortably and cover a bunch of ground. Don't have to worry about the layovers, planes, maybe getting delayed, all this type of stuff that's going on. And it's not like like I said, it's not crazy technology. And we have some high speed rails in the United States, but they're isolated in small pockets.
Right,
Like there's one from Orlando to Miami, and I think there might be one in the West Coast. But if we could have a high speed rail that connects the West Coast, I mean the East Coast to the West Coast, that would be lovely. Or even just New York to Miami. It it makes everything so easy, like transportation. Like it just makes everything it makes it so easy. But I would also be a competitor to the airlines who obviously struggle every year, have to get bailed out by the government, and you got the stuff that's going on with Boeing now, and the public opinion for airlines is at an all time low.
right.
So
Thanks to DEI.
there
That
you
was a
go.
joke. That was a
Thanks
joke.
to
Terrible
DEI.
joke, but now continue, continue.
But no, that's all I have to say. Is like I would love a bullet train in the United States.
Bro, you're absolutely right. That's definitely one of those things. Like, yeah, it exists elsewhere. The technology and knowledge to create it is there. So, yeah, what is the holdup on that? And there, it would be nice to not have to rely on planes, and you make other kind of distance travels way more practical.
Hmm.
So that's a great
Yeah.
idea. I like that. I think on mine, it'll probably go back to what I said in the prior episode, just something around technology around natural disaster prevention. I
Mm.
even think about, I mean, I'm probably going to sound a little wild now, but the idea is still that, we're on this earth, right? And it rotates around the sun in its orbit. And there are asteroids or other existential threats that are, potentially, it's the unknown, right?
Hmm.
If there's an asteroid heading straight for Earth, what's the discussion there? What's the plan of action? Uh, because like I know there was one that they were predicting was going to come, I think in 2032, if I'm not mistaken. But I think they said that it wouldn't have a huge impact in terms of how big the diameter of the crater that it would create or whatever. But like I have no knowledge of any technology that can prevent humanity from being perished by something outside of the earth. So
Yeah.
I would, the technology is here, the things that we're spending money on, like, yeah, let's look towards the skies. And then to kind of deviate, to kind of put a little twist on this topic, something I learned today that I probably should have known in terms of, technology. I didn't realize there's these things called are you familiar with submarine communications cables?
Not specifically submarine communication cables.
Yeah. So essentially, like it's fiber optic cable that is literally in the ocean. So
Hmm.
like there's a hub that goes from the United States to Spain, and it's nothing but fiber optic cable in the water.
Okay.
And apparently there's all kind of networks, and I guess that's how we're able to do things like VPN and
Yeah.
access
Okay.
all those networks. Because I was talking to Gemini, I'm keeping it real, and I was like, "Tell me a fun fact about networking," and it talked about it, and I just thought that was fascinating. I definitely recommend looking into that. I think there
Okay.
seems to be plans for other companies to build more cables to connect different countries. And usually, I'm
Hmm.
not even like a tech person, like in terms of fun facts, but that was a very fun fact. I mean, I guess it makes sense that the signals wouldn't be strong enough to go over the air
Yeah.
from
And
here
fiber
to
is
there.
obviously way faster
Yeah, right,
using light
exactly.
to transmit data.
Right. And
No
that was
interference.
fascinating. No interference. And apparently they have copper wires that are like at different parts of the long wiring to repower it so that it can, I think I said it uses some kind of multiplexer to kind of intensify the light signal so that it can
Yeah.
continue. This,
So you
man,
don't have attenuation due to
yeah.
long distance. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
that
wonder
was
who
just
paid for it though.
I
Did they?
yeah, I think AT this I think AT&T is one of the people that does a so I don't want to I'm pretty much regurgitating some of the information I took in just later today, I mean earlier today, but I think AT&T was one of the names that came up. But we could definitely do some research and talk about that more. I just don't
Okay.
want to say anything
Yeah.
incorrect. But yeah, that was fascinating.
I'm gonna definitely look that up. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, but back to your first point. It made
Yeah.
me think because I'm watching a new series on Hulu called Paradise. Have you
Yeah.
seen it or heard about it?
Nah, I don't have Hulu. I don't think
Oh,
I have.
okay.
Is
Okay.
that the one with the what's his name in it? Dude from not Last of Us. This Is Us, that guy?
I can't remember his name.
It's
I
the
don't
black dude,
the
right?
movie. This is us. Yes, a black dude. Yes, it is. Yeah, he's from This Is Us. Sterling K. Brown. That's his name.
Yeah, okay,
Sterling K. Brown. Yeah.
I heard it was really good. So yeah, what is it about?
So when you're talking about natural disaster prevention, so the United States has pretty much developed this underground bunker, but it's an underground city.
Okay.
And well, it was due to this the scientists predicting that there's going to be this event on Earth that would reverberate and cause this huge wave from the South Pole, and the wave would travel from the South Pole to the North Pole and and kind of destroy everything in its path. Like
Mm.
you imagine a big enough wave where like you see a wave breaking from shore to out in the ocean a certain distance. Just imagine a wave breaking from the South Pole all the way up to the North Pole. That's kind of what the scientists were saying. So they developed this underground city, and of course, in usual capitalist United States American fashion, only a certain select few were able to get on this reserved
Mm.
city.
Yeah.
So it just made me think when you're saying like the technology to prevent the natural disasters, they effectively like discounted what the scientists were saying, and or they modeled it and they thought it was like further out than what it was, and it just happens to go down. And then you just see people's reaction to it. It was just butts of chaos. It's interesting. I suggest the series if you get a chance. I'm not going to say
Okay.
too much more about it, but
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
But I will say this: the funny thing about it, not necessarily, it is funny, but it also probably is realistic too. So while the wave is like coming up from Australia and all this other stuff, China invades all these other China and Russia, or I think China invades Russia or stuff like that. They're doing
Yikes.
all of a sudden they're going to try to grab up land when the Earth is pretty much going to be supposedly wiped out by this wave.
That is kind of funny. I don't know
and
why
then
that's so funny to me. Like,
and
God dang.
then
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
and then they start launching. Now you good? They start launching nukes at each other.
Oh my God.
And in America, and before that happened, right, the president's being evacuated on Air Force One to go to the bunker. They're saying, Mr. President, we should preemptively launch these nukes because we don't know what they're going to do. So I'm like, the wave is coming. We're not even talking about the wave. Like we're talking about should we launch our nukes just in case they might launch their nukes at us anyway. So we might as well preemptively strike them. So it's
Right.
just human nature is just is just interesting.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But it
I
gives.
definitely want to check that out.
Yeah, I recommend it. Have you seen Snowpiercer?
Yes. I saw that a
It
minute ago. Yeah.
okay. If you it gives you like Snowpiercer and maybe I don't want to say Westworld, but it gives me some of the Snowpiercer vibes as far as like some of the concepts and yeah, that's all I say on it.
Okay.
Spoiler alert. That was a lot,
All right, no worries, no
but
worries.
not too much. Not
Not
too
too
much.
much.
But
Okay,
yeah.
okay, okay.
So do we want
No
to go
worries.
to the deeper topics, or we want to do the top three? What you feeling like?
Yeah, I think we could probably do the top three then call it because yeah, I can hear the girls upstairs and I know I'm gonna get in trouble
Uh
for
oh.
how long this is going. But
Okay.
yeah, we could definitely hold that one for the third. But we could yeah,
Okay.
we could end out with the top three.
All right. So we got our top three movies, and looks like we broke it down between genres. You want to start it off, Kofi?
I'm not gonna lie. I saw some on your list and I was like, dang. Everything in your action section, I would definitely like for sure add. So I'll go ahead and provide mine. Yeah. So top three movies. And this was hard for me. So yeah, I try to break it out into three different categories of drama, animation, and action. For drama, I put Inception. Um, to me, I love the movie even more
That's a
so
good one.
than yeah, even more so than the dream aspect because dreams are so mysterious and the science behind it isn't even as you know well understood into in terms
Mm-hmm.
of the implications. I love the musical score, love the acting, the aesthetics. It was done so well to me. Animation, any Hayao Miyazaki film. So we're talking Princess Mononoke. I'm talking Castle in the Sky. I'm talking Howl's Moving Castle for the same
That
reasons. It's art in motion, and they typically go with this musical composer by the name of Joe Hisashi. To me, he does not fail. I've not heard something
mm,
so consistently dope since some of the Nintendo soundtracks from Koji Kendo, I think. And then finally for action, I put Iron Monkey, although man, I might have to steal some of yours. The reason I did Iron Monkey, that's when I was mainly introduced to Donnie Yen, who was probably my favorite, on-screen martial artist. And I think, I think the fun fact behind, I have to double check this, but I think between and Iron Monkey, I think who's that popular movie director? I forgot his name, but uh, Quentin Tarantino, I think played a role in the development of Iron Monkey, if I'm not mistaken.
mm.
So I'll
I
have to
didn't know that.
verify.
Okay.
I'll have to verify that. But yeah, that would be my top three. And sorry if you were you saying something? I might have cut you off.
Oh no, I said I didn't know that. I didn't know that's dope.
Yeah.
I really like the list, especially the Studio Ghibli.
Oh
Like that's
man.
how you say it, Studio Ghibli.
Yeah, I think so.
It's
That's how I
just
said it.
I think they, and I'll just say this quickly about like anime
Yeah.
or those type of animations. Like you have, it's almost like a cheat code because you can just convey so many different emotions in one piece of art. Like you can
Mm,
have something super funny and the next thing something super serious. Somebody could die. Just how animes are. You're like it's a progression of different emotions that you can't capture in like a real live action format.
yeah. Yeah.
And then you can also just the humor, like the stuff you can sneak in there and get away with. Like if you think about all the stuff Dragon Ball Z got away with, like just a bunch of it's
Oh
just.
man.
But I've never seen like just like you said, I've never seen anybody harness those emotions like Studio Ghibli, like
Man.
Spirited Away movie and
Spirited Away, yes.
Howling. Was it Howling Castle?
Yep, Howl's Moving Castle.
Howl's Moving Castle. It's just I just the emotions that the only thing that can like, and it's not even like movie related. The only thing that can is close to it is like when I was in Barcelona and I was looking at buildings and cathedrals that this architect named Antonio Gotti
Mm,
um, made, and just I don't know, just the creativity behind it and like the meaning behind it, and just I've never seen anything like it before. And he instantly became I recommend you guys if you look up his works, like it just has like a different. I don't know. I can't really explain it. Just it's different. And the
What's
same
his
with
name?
Studio Gib and Tony Gotti. His last name is Gaudi.
Okay, I'm gonna
And
definitely look him up.
yeah, it's instantly became my favorite architect. But it's the same kind of feels like you can't really explain how they don't miss. Like you just said, I just don't
Right,
understand
right,
it. Like nobody else can do the same at such a high clip.
right. And so for
And
Antoni Gotti, was it the art or the you said it was sculptures?
he did sculptures, he did cathedrals, he did
Okay.
houses, like buildings, like,
Yeah,
and it's so distinct. Like when you see it, you know
yeah.
it's him because it looks
Mm,
like nothing you ever seen before, and it looks like a fan, like his buildings are like in a fantasy world. Like it doesn't even seem like you're. It's in like in where it's at because you're in Barcelona. There's a certain kind of architect style in all the other buildings, and you look at him, it's like he's somebody from fantasy world just made this. But
mm,
this manner is there's like meaning behind the different art elements.
yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh man,
Um, but
put
not
on
to
my
take
bucket
from
list.
your list though. But
No,
that's a
no, no
great list.
worries. Yeah, no, I
Inception,
appreciate it.
amazing movie.
Oh man, 100%. But yo, I'm excited about your list because you got some bangers on here. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie to you.
it got hard. I couldn't, especially on the action part. Like it's hard for me to. It's a
Yeah,
it's a wide range of action movies that I like. Arnold Schwarzenegger action movies,
yeah.
any '80s action movies, not just Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Bruce Willis.
I Bruce Willis,
Yeah,
even Steven Seagal, even like the lesser known ones, like stuff stuff that you would see on Spike TV. Like I'm a big action movie buff, and I love kung fu flicks.
yeah,
So it's like I couldn't really narrow it down, but drama, and I give Godfather Part Two for drama because I don't know how old I was when I first saw the movie. I'm pretty sure I was single digit,
yeah.
but when I seen it, I knew that was like my favorite movie. I mean, me and my mom used to like every year, like during spring break, we just sit down and watch all the Godfathers.
Bro,
Like
I
I don't know
still
what it
do, man.
was.
I still
You
need to.
you, you still haven't watched?
I think I started the first one and something happened. I,
Oh
I
my
will.
Lord,
I
Lord
know,
have
man.
mercy.
I know you probably like this the last episode we doing, but I got you. So, any particular reason that you said the part two? What
Part
stands out in
two.
part two for you versus the first and third?
So Godfather One is a great movie too.
Yeah,
It's a great movie, but what sets part two over the top for me is because they go back. I love history. They go back to Italy,
mm,
to where Vito Corleone, the Don, when
yeah,
he was a kid, and how he came to be what he was, and then also like when he came over to New York City, and how it kind of like shows how he got established in his neighborhood. So it's a lot of history aspects to it.
yeah,
And then you also have Al Pacino that he's future because it jumps between the timelines. But Al Pacino is now the Don, so now he's making his moves, and Al Pacino is he's a dude. Like he's ruthless.
yeah,
Like initially, if you remember Godfather, well, you didn't watch, but Godfather One, he wasn't supposed to be part of the family business. He was a veteran. His father wanted him to be a politician, and just based off circumstances, he ended up being the godfather of the family, and now he's trying to move them to be legit and stuff like that. So there's a lot of action from that aspect.
yeah.
So yeah, it's
Okay.
just, and then talking about soundtracks, I mean, Godfather is known
Oh
for his
man,
soundtracks and setting the scene. Like it's just authentic. Even the historical scenes, it just seems like you're watching like a live, like a somebody recording history. Like it's not even actors out there.
right, bro. I remember the theme because I've always heard the theme here and there.
Oh yeah,
Beautiful thing. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
yeah. And then animation, I didn't want to say what you picked, but I would say I like Shrek. Shrek was always when it first came out. I mean, to this
Yo.
day, I probably know most of the words for the script in
Yeah.
most scenes.
Yo, that's a fire family movie in terms of
Yeah.
family vibes. But yes, continue, please. Because I
No,
love
you
Shrek movie
good.
too. I love Shrek.
No, but the family is it's one of those ones that it has enough content laid in there hidden for the adults to
Oh man.
appreciate, and the kids can like maybe not pick up on more the adult themed content and still have fun watching it too.
Yep. Wipe
Yeah.
your face. Dude, like is oh yeah. Yo, that might have to spawn into another topic of just Eddie Murphy's presence in some of these
Oh
films.
yeah,
In
Eddie
terms of
Murphy,
man,
the goat.
the
I
man.
was quoting Norbit yesterday.
Oh,
It's like he has even his low key movies are hilarious. I feel like
yeah.
Norbit is just as good as like I think it's better than Meet the Nutty Professor and them.
Oh, I
Um,
love Nutty Professor though. I'm not gonna lie.
the,
But
Nutty Professor's good though,
it's
but
so
Norbit's
good.
hilarious to me, bro. I don't know. Norbit
You
is super hilarious.
you think that could be released today?
Norbit, yeah,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
they stayed within the race. They weren't like trying to do anything. Oh, they did have him as an Asian old Asian guy sounding.
And he's so good when he does it. Yo, what the how like
Yeah,
because he was an Italian white guy in another movie, and I thought,
yeah,
dude,
it's coming to America in the
yeah,
barbershop.
bruh. It's not like I don't even see how you can be offended because he does it so well. That's a talented guy, man. But sorry, I digress. Continue because you got
Oh
a
yeah.
action packed action list as
Oh
well.
yeah, let me wrap this up with a bow. So
Man,
action, this is just something that I had to narrow down. So I got the Matrix. I mean,
whew,
I don't really feel like we need to talk too much about the Matrix.
nah.
It just, it almost made you feel like, and I still to this day, like, am I actually in the Matrix?
Oh,
Just
for
how the
sure.
presented the concepts and
Yeah,
the action behind it and the acting, even though it's like Keanu Reeves may appear to not be a great actor, but it's just
it still
his
suited him. Yeah,
it worked. Yeah, those certain roles that suit him, even if he doesn't really have the umph. People say.
I
Then I
need kung
had
fu.
exactly.
Show
Then
me.
we had Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Come on, man.
Ooh,
Come on now.
Lily
Lima
Live.
Pie.
Come
Come on,
on.
man. Come on
Whooping
now.
ass with that stick and running across
I
the
was
trees,
so
brother. Come
man.
on,
Come
man.
on.
You can't
I
tell
was
me
so mad
shit.
when he died, man. I was
That
so
was
mad when he
bull.
died. I was
That
like,
was some
bro,
bullshit.
he went out like a G though.
Bro, tell me you ain't want to run across the top of buildings floating.
Man, on the bamboos,
Man, stop playing,
hey,
bro.
bro, they fly. They pretty much flying, and it's just so believable. You just go with it.
Bro, you flying and
Like,
then you
man,
whooping ass on the floor and then you flying again. Come on, what more could you want, man?
he got
Jeez,
taken
but
out by some
sorry, continue.
poison, man. Come on, man.
That was some bullshit. That was.
Okay, then we have Kung Fu Hustle. Come on now.
Bruh,
I
that
don't think
it's getting
this does
better and
not get
better.
talked about.
Yo,
People
I
don't talk
love
about
that
Kung Fu
movie.
Hustle like that, man.
That movie is one of the best movies I've ever, in terms of action, in terms of, it's the one of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
Exact
Dude,
right.
when the knife was in the dude, he took it out and put it back.
Like and put it back
Put
in.
it back in. Bruh. I want to watch that. But sorry, I'm getting excited
No,
because
you're
you have
good.
such a good
That's the whole
list.
point. That's the whole
That's
point.
such a good list. But yeah, continue, continue,
The
continue.
action is crazy. And then
Oh man.
I put Gladiator and asterisk. Let me tell you why I put an asterisk.
All right,
So
hit
in
me.
my younger times, I'm gonna make it quick. As the New York place, New York people say, make a short story short.
Yeah.
Um, when I was younger, and let's say, I was like high school and college, and I was with like another with a female, trying to extend the time.
Yeah.
Okay, they like put up one more movie or something. If I'm telling my mom, like, okay, y'all be back there after watching one more movie. That one more movie would be Gladiator. Because
Yo.
these were the times when movies like an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Gladiator was like 2 hours, 35 minutes.
Right.
So I would always put on Gladiator whenever I wanted to stretch something out. So,
To have some fun.
uh, but it
Yo,
also
that
is
is
a great
hilarious.
movie with the story and the action. But
Secondary.
yeah,
Yeah. So it was a good tool in your toolkit.
absolutely.
I'm not mad at
One
that.
one more movie, Gladiator, is
I
going on
I
for
am.
sure.
Yo, that is hilarious. I love that list, bro. Oh my God.
I like your list too, man. Especially the animation part.
Oh man. Nah,
But
but
we
the Kung Fu Hustle, the Matrix. Oh my God.
I just rewatched the Matrix. I don't know if you call it a trilogy anymore because it's just so good.
Yeah, I don't know
I
how you
mean, the
feel
new
about
one
it.
was good to it was okay.
I might
I
need to
think
watch it
people,
again. I didn't get it. I kept falling asleep
yeah,
too. I was
you probably
expecting
gotta
more.
watch it again.
All
It
right.
makes sense. Like it effectively, the machine just made a better Matrix, and they put him back in there. It just made it seem like everything he went through was a video game, so he could just think he was crazy. So I
Ah,
mean, like when they explained it is, and then people were kind of off put because Morpheus and Agent Smith kind of like but I ain't gonna hold. It was okay.
okay. We might
I
have
think it's
to
good enough.
spin back on that in a future episode because I'd love to get more into the Matrix for
Oh
sure.
yeah, just talk about it in more depth for sure. Yeah,
There's a lot there. Yeah.
yeah. But all right, I think this wraps it. That puts a bow on the episode.
Yeah.
Any
Man.
departing wisdom, Kobe?
Same as last time. Health and wealth. Hope everybody's listening and hope us, we continue to strive and become better people. How about yourself, sir?
There it is, man. I don't even have to add nothing. That's good. We can take it home.
All right. This has been the Deep Tides, Kofi AJ, and we out here.
All right, peace.
Peace.